Hi everyone, welcome to your practice. I'm Courtney and this class is called Take a Deep Breath. Today we're going to be working a lot, of course, with breath, but not just with breathing deeply, with really opening the structures of the breath, introducing more elasticity to the lungs and the diaphragm, or the main engine of breath, and then also working to release some tension from the iliopsoas complex. So that grouping of muscles runs across the top of the hip and attaches to the low spine on the front side of the low back. And it shares some muscle fibers, some common fibers, fascial lines with the diaphragm. So for a lot of us, because of how we live life and due to stress, we have short, tight, weak hip flexors, specifically the iliopsoas. And then also just with how we live, we tend to kind of hold our breath quite a bit. It's a common stress response, and more often than not, especially when we're distracted, we don't really think about how we're breathing. So we're going to consciously bring a little more awareness to this area. We're going to really work to open up and fan the ribs and just give some more space for oxygen to enter the body. And that, in effect, will help to lower the sympathetic nervous system response, or even induce the parasympathetic nervous response through stimulating the vagus nerve, which also runs through the diaphragm. So for today, we're going to need one piece of kind of specialized equipment. It's kind of specialized, but it's just a squishy ball. So this is specifically a Coregeous ball from Yoga Tune-Up. This is essentially a underinflated Pilates ball. And you could certainly use anything that is roughly this size and just has a lot of give to it. So you could even use like a round stuffed animal of some sort, or some kind of pillow too, if you don't have one of these laying around. We're also going to need a strap, and let's go ahead and just prepare that strap. So as usual, and as we've been doing a lot, we'll make a loop with the strap. So go through both D-rings, over the second, and back through the first. And then I'm going to have you make that strap pretty wide, because we're going to end up putting it around the ribs here to begin with. So keep that pretty wide. And then we'll use a blanket as well. So to start with this blanket, I'm going to have you place it behind you so that you have just a little support for your seat. Really sit in any way that's comfortable for you. So if that is sitting on a block in Virasana, then that's great too. And then we'll take this strap, go ahead and place it around the torso, right around the ribs. Okay? I want you to tighten this strap up just enough that you're getting a little bit of feedback. So not enough that it's actually corseting the ribs together or acting like a belt. Just enough that you're kind of getting a little feedback without having to have your hands on your belly. All right, so go ahead and bring your hands down to your legs. You can turn the palms down today. Allow your eyes to close. Just take a deep breath in through the nose. Feel the ribs move out into the strap, and then exhale. And another deep breath in. And exhale. And so if it's possible for you, let your lips close and begin to breathe through your nose. And I'd really like you to become aware of the ribs spreading side to side, forward and back. And of course, the lungs are also moving down and filling up. So we're really feeling the full three-dimensionality of the lung space. And so just continuing to breathe into this strap. And the mechanism of breathing is just so interesting. So as the diaphragm automatically contracts, it pulls the ribs outward, which creates a vacuum and pulls air into the lungs. And as the diaphragm relaxes, it creates basically a pushing action of releasing the air out of the lungs. That's a grossly simplified way to explain what's happening. But you can feel this in your body. So the diaphragm is this big jellyfish-shaped muscle organ that is connected to the spine, connected to the lowest ribs. And its whole job is to do that, to contract, to parachute outward, to pull air into the lungs, and then to release. And it really serves as a barrier between kind of the earth and water elements, which might sound a little esoteric, but you can think of that as the heavier organs of the body. So everything that's kind of wet, from things that are lighter, from things that are drier, like the heart, the lungs. So this journey of self-realization, of course, moves through various stages. But it has this barrier to pass through, the manipura, or the ego, where this diaphragm is. And as we pass through, as we continue to learn those lessons about self and how we are in the world, then we're able to open more freely to the heart. We're able to express ourselves in our true way. We're able to connect to higher consciousness. It's just pausing, taking another 2-3 breaths here. Right out into the strap. Just feeling lungs expand and release. Nice. Go ahead and open the eyes. Yes, and you can release that strap, so just loosen it up. Let it come off. Place it off to one side. Come off of your blanket. We're going to be spending a little bit of time on the ground here. So you can take your blanket and just undo it enough so that kind of covers the mat. This is going to give you both a little padding and a little ability to slide a bit. So with your blanket on the mat, go ahead and grab your ball. And I'm going to have you come down and place the ball just in the lowest part of the belly to start. Okay? So hopefully you didn't have a huge breakfast this morning or huge lunch. So right in the low belly, right between those front 2 hip points. I reference a lot. And you can pause here like in a sphinx pose. So toes untucked, forearms on the ground, giving yourself just a little massage side to side. Still breathing into the side ribs, into the back. And as you feel comfortable, allow yourself to come down, just crossing your hands. Bring forehead to the back of the hands. And we'll pause here and feel the spaciousness of the back body. So ideally this ball is just below the belly button, right in the lowest part of the abdomen. And allow your breath to move into that ball. So really purposefully draw it down into the ball. Draw it down into the low back. If you like to wiggle a little bit side to side, just encouraging us to touch on those hip flexors, the iliopsoas. Feel free to do that. For most of us, being prone or being face down automatically starts to kick in the parasympathetic nervous system, so it allows the body to relax pretty automatically. Oh, again, you're just pausing, breathing right into the low belly. And then as you feel ready, you could certainly stay here longer or revisit at any point. Go ahead and help yourself up onto your forearms, prop yourself on one forearm, and then move the ball so that it's just below the sternum. Okay, so right at the xiphoid process, the bottom of the breastbone. Right, and this ball is wide enough that, or your pillow is wide enough that it shouldn't be painful, but if the bottom edge of your breastbone tends to tilt forward a little bit, I'd like you just to take it a little bit higher up. Okay, so it's not right on the stomach. So again, we'll pause here. Bring forehead to the back of the hand. Certainly if you had a block, you could put your forehead to the back of the block as well. This time breathing into the space of the upper back, right between the shoulder blades. Feeling the ribs fan, so those intercostal muscles, which contract to pull the ribs apart. And then release and let go of the exhalation. So often when the diaphragm is stuck from either kind of a chronic stress state or trauma, which is so very, very common. Okay, we tend to use these secondary breathing muscles of the upper back, the shoulders, to do the work of the diaphragm. We're still encouraging breath to move through the whole back body, move through sides of the waist, and letting go of each exhalation. There's nothing to hold on to. So again, we'll take 1 or 2, 3 more breaths here. And gently again, use your arms, your hands to help prop yourself up. Roll to one side, and we'll place the ball just underneath. So use your hand, find those bottom ribs, and I want you to place the ball just underneath those bottom ribs. So it's not on the waist, and it's not underneath the armpit. It's kind of just right on the side of the body. Okay? This bottom arm, you can reach out in front. You can bend the elbow. Again, you could use a block underneath the head if that's better for you. The top hand, you can rest on the ground. You could reach down by your sides, or if you like, reach the top arm up and then bring it up alongside the ear. So I know that can feel like a lot for some people with their shoulder. So really whatever's best for you. Okay. With your legs, just have them bent enough in whatever position allows you to feel pretty supported. So you're right on the lateral line of the body, not tilting forward or tilting back. And then I want you to focus on bringing your breath into the top ribs. So as though these top ribs are flaring and accepting breath more than anywhere else in the body. And then exhaling to release. So you'll feel these top ribs, you'll feel this top side of the waist move up and down with breath. And if it's helpful to have a hand there, have your hand there. And so just taking a few breaths here. Sides of waist expand. Go ahead and soften the eyes, soften the jaw. Soften any gripping through the hips. And on your next exhalation, go ahead and release that top hand in front. And you'll use that to help you come on up. And then for you, just go ahead and turn to the other side. I'm going to turn so I can continue to face you. Okay. And then again, find those bottom ribs, so right along, little riblets. And you'll just place the ball right underneath there. So it's not on the waist and it's not underneath the armpit, it's right in between. And with the top arm, go ahead and extend it long or bend the elbow or have a block under your head as a pillow. That's great. Legs are bent enough that you can feel supported, like you don't have to really fight gravity here. And then if you want your hand down on the ground still, if you want your hand on the waist or by your side, do that. Otherwise, reach it alongside the ear. Yes, and focus your breath on moving up towards the ceiling, towards the sky, on feeling those top ribs flare up and out. Yes, again, letting go of the eyes, letting go of the jaw, letting go of the throat. For a lot of us vinyasa and yoga practitioners, we kind of automatically move into ujjayi breath, but let that go. So lots of space in this class, lots of space in this practice for you to just be with your breath. Really nothing complicated or tricky. Just as sometimes moving even as sweetly as we can move in an asana practice like vinyasa practice or whatever your usual practice is. It's so nice to just be uncomplicated sometimes. To let go of the need to move or the need to even learn, the need to hold on to information or to gather information, the need to progress, to see improvement. You can feel it here as you let go. And go ahead and release. Bring that top arm forward. And help yourself up. Good. And then from here, transition onto your back. Place that ball just between the shoulder blades, just below between the shoulder blades, so kind of where the bra would be. Okay. And then feet to the floor, knees bent. So we've done this many times without the ball, but go ahead and interlace your hands behind your head. Okay. So upper back is on the ball. And we'll pull the elbows together, curl up, rounding the spine. And on your in-breath, take the elbows wide. Nice. So opening over that ball, back of the head reaching towards the floor. We'll exhale as we round up. And inhale to arch back, sending the elbows wide, lengthening back of the neck. Exhale as you round. Yes, just moving really slowly and inhaling to arch. And just keep doing this a few more times on your breath, your pace. As you can see, I'm moving really, really slowly. So each degree of spinal flexion and extension is being explored, is feeling the breath move through it. Each degree and each range of motion is really softening, expanding, releasing. If you yawn or sigh, or if you feel any sort of rushes of wind or breath, let those things happen. And then, of course, if you need to pause anywhere, feel free to pause. So it's just also really great work for opening up the upper back. We're doing the opposite of what we tend to do a lot, which is sit or stand and slouch. Nice. Next time you've come up, go ahead and release your hands, bring forearms to the ground. Help yourself come up and move that ball off to the side. All right, so come onto your back. Just pausing in Shavasana, let the feet turn out, let the palms turn up. Feel the sensation of breath here. And let the body be heavy and receptive to the ground holding it. From here, we'll bring the hands up towards the sky. Nice. Interlace the fingers, flip the palms. Go ahead and point the toes up towards the ceiling, flex the feet. Then inhale, reach the arms long. Reach each foot away. You might reach both feet away at the same time. And we'll hold on to the right wrist with the left fingertips and then curve the top half of the body. So arc the torso over to the left. Walk your heels over to the left and cross your right ankle on top of your left ankle. Take a few deep breaths into the right side of the waist. Release the legs, walk the heels back to center, bring your arms and torso back to center, and we'll curl over to the right, hold on to the left wrist with the right forearm or forefinger and thumb. Okay, so left shoulder still nice and heavy and open, doesn't have to be a huge arc. Walk your heels over to the right, cross left ankle on top of the right ankle. And take a couple of deep breaths. It's so nice. I have the sun right in my eyes, right on my face right now. I feel just like a cat, which is my dream and my spirit animal. Take another breath or two or three here. And then from here, bring the torso back, unwind the legs. Nice. Bring your arms down by your sides. Good. Pausing in Shavasana. And just feeling the body receptive to breath, opening up. One at a time, we'll bend the knees, bring the feet to the floor. Reach down and find that ball, and just place it between your inner legs, okay, right in between the knees or the thighs. Reach your arms out to the side, and we'll lift the knees above the hips, shins more or less parallel to the floor, and then just hug the block. You don't have to squeeze it like crazy, just hug it enough. And then as you exhale, we'll take the knees over to the left just a bit. Doesn't have to be a ton. And inhale to come back to center. And exhale, take your knees over to the right. Good. Left shoulder, left arm heavy. Inhale to come up. Exhale to the left. Again, just a bit. Right shoulder, right arm heavy. Inhale to center. Exhale to the right. Left shoulder, left arm heavy. Inhale through center. Exhale to the left. Inhale through center. Exhale to the right. Good. Maybe you're starting to move a little bit deeper into these twists. Inhale. Exhale to the left. Inhale through center. And exhale to the right. Nice. If you're getting any clicks or pops through your back, just know that's very normal. That's why we're doing this. Next time your knees drop to the left, leave them there. And you can bring your left hand to the outer edge of that right knee, and then reach the right fingertips away as you send that right knee to the left. So just breathing in here. And then exhaling to release all of that. Bring your legs back to the center. We'll take our knees over to the right. Let them drop to the ground. And then right hand to the outer left knee. Left arm to the side. And as you pull that left knee to the right, pull your left fingertips to the left. Take an in-breath right here. And as you exhale, we'll come all the way back. Nice. Hug knees towards the chest. Ball to the side. Good. Come into happy baby, so reaching up and holding the outer edges of the feet. And just rocking a bit side to side here as well. Right. So if your hands don't easily come to your feet or rest on your feet, that's fine. You can hold shins, you can hold the backs of the legs. You can hold wherever it works well for you. This is just as effective. Okay. So next time you rock to the right, go ahead and pause there with that right knee reaching down towards the floor. Take a couple of deep breaths into the right side of the low back. So if you're feeling that right quadrant of the low back, that's called the QL, the quadratus lumborum. And it is very connected with the iliopsoas. So we need to loosen that as well. We'll come back up through the center. Rock the knees to the left, so left knee is reaching down towards the ground. And again, a couple of deep breaths. You'll probably notice one side of your low back is a bit touchier, a little tighter, more tender than the other. And we'll inhale all the way back through the center. Bring the feet together. Bring the feet to the ground. And then we'll roll to one side. Use hands and arms. Help yourself come all the way up to a seat. Make your way onto hands and knees. Okay, so from hands and knees, we'll just bring the right foot forward. Nice left knee on the ground. And then just see that your right ankle is more or less underneath the right knee. Scoot that left knee back. And then keep the back toes untucked. I want you to press down through the top of the left foot. So we'll press, reach the chest forward, lift up, try to arch the back. Then as you exhale back off of that, just pull the hips back. So we're just going to do this very small movement a few times. Inhale, Press the hips forward, press through the top of the foot, lift the chest. Then exhale, round a little, pull the hips back. And one more time like that, inhale. And as you exhale, go ahead, pull the hips back. Nice. We'll unwind out of that, bring your right leg back. Step your left foot forward. This is really pretty simple, more or less accessible work for most of us, right? If you need more padding underneath your right knee, if you need blocks underneath your hands, give yourself the things that you need. Okay. So from here, back toes are untucked. On your in-breath, we're pressing down through the top of the right foot, lifting the chest, moving it forward. And then exhaling as you press down, pull the hips back. And again, we'll inhale. And exhale, just backing out of it a little bit. And a couple more times, inhaling, press down, lift up. And exhale. And then last time, inhale. And exhale to round. All right, let's go ahead and bring your left leg back with you. And bring the feet together, knees wide, settle the hips back, come to child's pose. Just rocking the hips side to side. Let the forehead connect down with the ground. Feel the breath move through the sides of the waist. Feel it move through the belly, even so it could touch the inner thighs. So even if your torso isn't touching your legs, imagine that your breath could radiate outward, could send the belly, could send the ribs to touch the legs. And we'll go ahead, come forward onto the belly. So on your belly, take the elbows wide, so you're going to be pretty low. Okay. Your hands can be crossed if that feels good to you. Your hands could be uncrossed, really doesn't matter. I kind of like the elbows wide with the hands right on top of each other, forearms more or less in line, but call me crazy. It's just kind of my thing. All right, so we'll keep the right leg nice and long. Bend your left knee to the left. Okay. And just like a little half frog pose here on the left side. When you're there, go ahead and tuck the right toes, lift up that right thigh, and then start to pull back through the arms. All right, so you're really stretching the front of the belly. So we'll take another 2 breaths here. Keep those right toes tucked under, keep that thigh lifted. And then we'll untuck right toes. Lengthen that left leg. All right, keep it long. Bend your right knee. It's a little half frog pose on the right side. We'll tuck the right toes. And from here, lift the left thigh. Press down through the front of the left hip and pull the arms back. And then breathe. I just got a nice little click in my neck. You just never know. The whole chain works together, right? The whole body works together. So be open to the experience of whatever's going to happen. Sometimes it's not what you expect. And as you exhale, we'll release the left leg. We'll bring the right leg back. All right, so 2 straightish legs. Bend your knees. Or sorry, not bend your knees, tuck your toes under, send the thighs up, and then go ahead, pull the elbows back, and reach the chest forward. All right, so this is a pretty small cobra pose. You could also pull the elbows in front, have a lower angle. That's totally fine. All right, so toes tucked, thighs lifting, reaching chest, pulling those arms back. And then we'll exhale to untuck toes. Bring forehead down to the back of the hands. Give your hips a little wiggle, a little shimmy, a little shake side to side. And then because the lung meridian moves through the arms, we've done a lot of arm open stuff. We're really going to work to open the pec minor. So we'll reach the left arm to the left, or one of your arms to the side. Take a look and see that the fingertips are pointed straight away from the shoulder and your arm is making a true T, right? Turn your head the opposite direction. Use that other hand to help you roll. And then side of the head can come down. You could bend this top knee, bring the foot behind if that's comfortable to you. You could also have the foot forward or the leg stacked on top of the other one. All are good options. And so my palm is connected down. My fingertips are still reaching. And breathing right into the front of that left shoulder. And so for some of you, this is going to feel like a great place to hang out. If after a few breaths you're like, I could use a little bit more, go ahead and come back to your belly. We'll bend that left elbow, or whatever elbow is bent, 90 degrees, and then walk it forward about 2 inches, right? So the elbow is just a little in front of the line of the shoulder. Fingertips are pointed forward. Use your other hand. We're going to do the same thing. Roll to that outer left hip. Okay. And just let yourself pause. If you feel your left shoulder hiking up towards your ear, draw it down just a little, back off from the intensity a little bit. So opening it up right through lung point 1 and 2. Which, not as a coincidence, is right on the trajectory of pec minor, which is one of the secondary muscles of respiration that also tends to become very, very tight just from how we live. Very short, and it pulls the heads of the shoulders forward. Rounds the upper back, contributes to head forward and down posture, and then generally stifles the breathing. So we'll release all the way onto the belly. And reach your opposite arm out, so whichever arm you're not working on, take it out. Fingertips point straight away, turn the opposite direction with the head. And then we'll use that opposite arm to help you roll to that hip. The top leg can be back, it can be forward, wherever you need to be. And if this feels like a good place to stay for you, stay here. Otherwise, you'll roll back to your stomach. Bend your right elbow about 90 degrees, and then walk the elbow and the hand forward about 2 inches. And once again, we'll turn, pressing down through that forearm, pressing down through that palm. If you feel that shoulder hiking up, gently hug it away from the ear and lessen the intensity. So come out of this a little bit. And then as you're ready, release all the way out. Nice. Make your way onto hands and knees. Awesome. Settle the hips back. Come into child's pose, this time maybe with knees together. Letting the forehead drop. Arms walk forward. And you are certainly welcome to move into Shavasana. Or if you'd like, just come up to a seat any way that's comfortable. So we'll pause. And go ahead, turn the palms up. On your in-breath, take your arms out wide. Lift them up, join the palms at the top of the exhalation. And exhale as you bring hands through heart center. And again, we'll gather the breath that surrounds us. Inhale, take the arms out and wide. Exhale, hands down through the center. Nice. One more like that. Inhale, gathering. And exhale. And dropping that prana through the body. Pause with hands at heart center. Take 1 or 2 deep breaths to the center of the palms. And if you'd like to join for the sound of Om, take a deep breath in. Namaste, everybody.